Alright, so we are on step 2 of diagnosis, trying to figure out what happened with my crank. I just got under the car very quickly. I had no intention of being able to get the balancer off. However, I did put a socket on the balancer bolt, and son of a bitch, it's loose. I don't know what would have caused that thing to come loose. Again, it's been on the car for, that balancer's been on for over 2 years now. I don't know. I'm going to go ahead and finish loosening up that bolt. I'm going to see if the balancer just comes off or what the hell happens. I don't know what to expect here. We're going to get that off, and then I got a borescope from one of my friends. We're going to go ahead and get the borescope down the cylinders and kind of get an idea what kind of carnage we did, hopefully. You're going to see here I got the socket up on the crank pulley bolt, and I would have expected to not be able to move this thing at all. I would have expected to have to get an impact on this. But if you can see, this bolt is very easily able to be threaded out. So that makes me think that this thing has been moving out for a while, or there was no Loctite put on it from the shop to put it on. God only knows, but we're going to find out real quickly here how easily this crank pulley comes off. Alright, so you can see the crank pulley bolt came off along with the washer, and you're going to see that there are some fucked up threads there. So my assumption is that this was caused by this backing out a little bit. There does not look like there is any Loctite on this bolt, so I'm assuming that there should be. So I'm going to go ahead and guess that this was an installer error. I know that's a tough one, but again, I'm going to assume that there should have been some kind of Loctite on this. Let's see if this crank pulley comes off. Which I'm probably going to have to do with two hands, but I can already see it. There's a large gap there. So let me try and get this with two hands, and let me see if this thing even pops off. So I went over to my friend's house. I got one of these nifty Chicom borescope cameras. It plugs in through USB. I have a tablet here I'm going to plug in. We're going to go ahead and start pulling the plugs. I'm going to show you guys what the plugs look like. And then we're going to start borescoping and see how bad it really is. So again, I did pull cylinders 1 through 3 last night, so I kind of already have an idea of what these look like. Here, if you guys can see here, there are no signs of detonation on this plug. These are fairly new plug, and just a little bit orange from the octanium. So that's what cylinders 1 through 3 look like. I'm not going to show pulling them all, but I will take some pictures later. Alright, so this should go without saying, but I'm going to say it because I have already had people say, oh, you probably detonated and that's what caused the problem. So without any shadow of any doubt, I do not see any indication of detonation, at least on cylinders 1 through 4. So in my opinion, from what I've seen so far, anybody that says that this was a tuner issue, or this was an issue of me detonating or running it too hot or something of that nature, I am going to kindly disagree. And I think the proof is in the pudding with the crank balancer bolt. So let's go ahead and get the borescope in there, see what these things look like. Alright, so I'm not sure how much you're going to be able to see here. This is going down cylinder 1. I'm going to try and position this as best as I can. Alright, so you can see the valve is out. That could just be from the stroke of that cylinder right now, but I do not see any hints that anything has hit. Nothing. Oh, I should probably be having the camera look at the screen. But I do not see any hints that anything has hit. Let me see if I can straighten out that scope. Alright, so let's try it again. Now that's a little bit more straight. It's harder to do one-handed than you would think. I do see a little bit of shininess on the right-hand side. So, yeah, something probably hit right there. Not horrible, but yeah, I think something tapped over there. Let's check the other ones out. So cylinder 2 shows a similar little speck. I don't know that that's from a valve kiss-in though. I mean, it does look peculiar because it's fresh and it's shiny, but that is the only indication I'm seeing of anything on that cylinder, if you guys can see it. You see a slight valve relief cut in the piston. Let's see if I can spin this. It's a little harder to do. But the other than that tiny thing, I'm not seeing anything. So I don't know. I'm gonna check them all. I think maybe I've come out of this pretty unscathed, but let's see. I mean, I'm not getting a huge amount of detail here, but this looks promising so far. So am I potentially the luckiest person in the world? The luckiest unlucky person in the world? So if you guys can see, this is cylinder 4. I mean, this is the best shot I'm going to be able to get with the angle, but there is fucking nothing on these pistons. Little bit of black specks on there, but I mean, there's no indication that valves kissed. Could I have gotten really lucky? I have a hard time believing that. Let's see if I can get down cylinder 3 again to get a clear shot. Again, I'm not seeing any shininess. I'm trying to get this as dead on as I can. It's not as easy as it sounds, but other than that tiny little speck on cylinder 1 and 2, I'm not really seeing anything. Come on, go in the hole. Okay, I guess that's on the back of the valve there. Oh no, it's on the piston since the piston's top dead center. So yeah, other than that little speck I see there, that's all I'm seeing. So I don't know. I might be doing all right here. Alright, so I pulled cylinders 4 through 8. You're going to see these have the same exact wear patterns as 1 through 4, so everything's good. I did borescope cylinders 4 through 8 as well. Cylinder 7, I think maybe I saw something tiny on the top of the piston. Cylinder 8, potentially something tiny on the top of the piston. Right at the valve reliefs. Again, nothing horrible, nothing that to me would indicate much of an issue. So in the grand scheme of things, what I'm seeing right now, I have the valve cover off on this side. I was looking at the cams, show a little bit of funky wear on the cams. So I was told by Brenspeed that this had Detroit rocker springs. I don't know if somebody took these out. I have a hard time believing somebody took out cams, but that's what they said they have. So I got to look up the numbers, see if these actually are, because guess what? If it's all going to come out, if these are stock cams, guess what? They're getting the fuck out, and I'm putting new cams in it. In the grand scheme of things, if the pistons have been touched at all, I'm just going to put new pistons in it because, again, this was a flat 8:1 compression ratio car. I feel like that's held me back a little bit, so I'll probably at least do 10:1, if not a little bit higher. So I may have been the unluckiest person in the world. We will find out what the true story is once the motor is out of the car, the heads are off, the crank is out. I can really see what the rods look like, but so far, knock on some wood, things aren't looking quite as terrible as what they potentially could have been. So one thing that I did just notice when I was getting ready to pop the valve cover back on, I'm pretty sure I do got some bent valves, at least on the passenger side. So on the round part of the cam lobes on these, it seems like these rockers are pretty much not making any contact. You can see on the first first two cylinders. That one's a little bit tighter. That one's a little bit tighter. This one moves like not at all. That one's on the cam lobe. This one's a little bit on the cam lobe. This one's not on the cam lobe. And you can see that thing is tight. It is not moving. Where this one's pretty much at the same spot. And yeah. So the potential of bending valves is pretty high, at least on these first two cylinders, it seems like, on the intake side at least. So hopefully I'm overthinking this because I don't always know what the fuck I'm talking about, but I would think at all times there should be pressure on these and it should be making some kind of contact. So yep. So I'm going to go ahead and get the plugs back in, get the valve cover back on, and this is probably going to be the last update you guys are going to see for a while. My next call is going to be out to L&M and Evolution Motorsports, kind of see what they think, and kind of from there just stacking up money to be able to pay for it. So I appreciate all the likes and subscribes and everybody watching the video. Please watch the video, please watch the ads. I know this sounds stupid, it's not about the money, but right now, you guys watching these videos is making the money that's going to pay for this thing to get fixed. So please watch the ads, support the channel, I appreciate it. If you guys need any shirts or stickers, again, that is stuff that's going to be able to pay for this thing to get back on the road a little bit sooner and get some content. So do what you guys can, and I appreciate the views. I'll catch you on the next one.